And I'm Keith.
And we are educators here at Jamestown Settlement.
And here at the museum, we often get asked, how did the Powhatan and the English communicate to each other in early Virginia?
And in today's episode of People of the Past, we are going to explore the role that one young man played in bridging that language and cultural divide. At just 14 years old, and in displeasure of his friends and desirous to see other countries, Henry became indentured in service to the Virginia Company of London. He faced a challenging journey from England across the Atlantic. His ship Unity was one of 9 vessels that comprised the 3rd Supply Fleet. During their voyage, the ships encountered a hurricane that scattered the fleet, leaving the flagship Sea Venture shipwrecked in Bermuda. In October of 1609, Henry and his fellow shipmates arrived in Jamestown, where he records being joyfully welcomed by our countrymen, being at that time about 80 persons under the government of Captain Smith, the president. Despite the arrival of many new colonists, the loss of the Sea Venture meant Jamestown did not receive much needed food and supplies.
In early 17th century England, it was commonplace for young people to be sent to other households to work.
And in Jamestown, this included young people being exchanged between the Powhatan and the English towns to learn new languages and customs so that they could become interpreters and messengers between the two groups. This way, they assisted in facilitating trade and diplomacy.
Shortly after arriving, Henry accompanied Captain John Smith up the James River to a town called Powhatan to negotiate with the werewants or ruler, Powhatan. During this meeting, Smith exchanged Henry for land on which he was intended to establish a town. Henry's presence in the town and bonded servitude to Powhatan was meant to maintain good relations.
While Henry was building relationships with the Powhatan, learning their language and culture, tensions between the English and the Powhatan continued to escalate.
Within a week, full-scale war had erupted between the English and the Powhatan.
And fearing violence, Henry left Powhatan and sought refuge back in Jamestown. Due to the scarcity of food, he didn't stay long in Jamestown. Henry eagerly agreed to accompany another young interpreter to serve the Manitowoc, Paramount Chief Powhatan. Their timely departure helped Henry and Thomas to avoid the Jamestown starving time that soon followed.
In November 1609, the Manitowoc ordered Henry to persuade the colonists to send a trade expedition up the York River to seek corn. However, Powhatan ambushed this expedition, resulting in the death of 30 colonists, including their captain John Ratcliffe.
In fear of what happened and worried about getting in trouble and being accused as a traitor by the English, Henry fled to the sanctuary of the Powhatan tribe, whose werewants had treated him with great kindness during a visit with the Manitowoc Paramount Chief Powhatan. In 1610, English Captain Samuel Argall recovered Henry from the Powhatan, where he had lived for the last year, and he released Henry from their service.
Henry assisted Argyle in building a relationship with the Powhatan through trade by exchanging English goods like copper and beads with goods like food and animal furs.
The Powhatan, who were tributary to the Powhatan Paramount Chiefdom, allied with the English in their conflict against the Powhatan. In 1613, Henry returned to England and documented his observations in relation of Virginia. Though he did not record the Algonquian language in his book, he wrote about many aspects of Powhatan life.
He described Powhatan towns and the spacious family homes or yahakens, mentioning that the homes of werewants were larger with divided rooms. Near those homes, the Powhatan cleared land for planting corn, bean, squash, and other crops, as agriculture offered the majority of the Powhatan food. Henry described feasts, sports, dancing, and other leisure time activities.
Written in 1613, but not published until 1872, Henry's words offer one of the very few early accounts of the Virginia colony, and they showcase Henry's experiences as he moved between the English and Powhatan worlds.
Henry became very fluent in the Algonquin language, leading him to be a highly respected translator to both the Powhatan and the English, allowing him to rise to the rank of captain. However, this caused Henry Spelman to become sometimes mistrusted by both of these cultures.
In 1619, Henry faced accusations from a rival interpreter named Robert Poole, who claimed that Henry made disparaging remarks about Governor Yardley in front of the Powhatan war chief Opechancanough. As punishment, Henry lost his rank and was ordered to serve 7 years as the interpreter to the governor of Virginia. Henry Spelman spent several years living amongst the Virginia Indians and serving as a messenger and interpreter between the two cultures. He saw times of peace, but he also saw times of conflict.
Henry survived an attack by the Powhatan on English settlements on March 22, 1622, which resulted in the deaths of about a quarter of the English population and began the Second Anglo-Powhatan War. During this renewed conflict, the English relied on Spelman to help restore the Powhatan military alliance.
Tragically, 1 year later, Henry Spelman was one of 20 colonists killed in an attack by the Anacostan Indians near the Potomac River. He was only 28 years old.
Henry's insights to the Powhatan culture and his ability to translate played a key role in helping maintain relations, although tensions persisted.
Henry's first-hand accounts of early colonial struggles and the relationship between the Powhatan and the English are an important historical source to understand early Virginia.
Thank you for watching this episode of People of the Past, and we hope to see you again soon.